So let's talk about the next two free people.
Yeah.
Coming August 30th, a free update. Cyclops and Colossus.
Yeah.
Jumping in hot.
2 characters who are in the base game as NPCs. They're in the expansion level. They kind of help you fight some different enemies and stuff
Sentinels,
like that. Yeah, exactly.
Juggernaut.
And people have been talking about are they playable, are they not? Like they're already kind of in the game. And then people were thinking like, okay, well they have an X-Men DLC announced. Like if those 2 characters are part of the DLC, it kind of feels like maybe we're getting ripped off a bit. Like these characters are already in the game. They have animations. They already have there's already Cyclops can already shoot lasers out of his eyes. Like it's already in the game.
I would never say ripped off though, because in other games we have had NPCs like a Black Widow, Nick Fury that weren't playable, right? So it has happened before.
Yeah, I just mean let's say your X-Men DLC literally has those 2 and like Beast. Like what if that's all the X-Men DLC
I wouldn't have been salty. You would have been salty, but I was honestly, I think this is just such a great move. I was not expecting them to be free. I was 100% expecting those 2 to be part of the 2 because we talked about this when the X-Men got originally revealed that people are going off that portrait, right?
Yeah.
Now, so if they're revealed, the only person in that portrait so far that hasn't been revealed is Professor X, which we'll talk about the DLC later.
And Beast, kind of. He's in the
picture.
Yeah,
true. We'll talk about him. But yeah, as far as them being in it, I'm excited. He sucked a lot because I don't have him upgraded, but we played Ultimate Alliance the other night, and he had this great well, I can't remember what it was, but
Optic Blast,
and then had something else. So it
he
was
also
like
has
a
a
ricochet.
roundhouse kick for something.
Yeah, so I think Cyclops, if done right, could be a really fun character.
Yeah, I think he'll be more interesting in this game because, one thing that Ultimate Alliance 1 did a lot right, but it also did some things that weren't so great. Like every character having basic attacks of punches is really weird. Like why is Storm punching these guys?
Yeah.
Why is I guess Colossus probably does that sometimes, but I think he'll be like a fully ranged character, right? Like his basic attack will probably just be like different.
He'll
blasts.
have the roundhouse kick.
He'll have the roundhouse kick, but he might be fully projectile character. There's a few of those in the game, so I think this game will fit him a whole lot better. Mm-hmm. I think one problem I have with Colossus in the first game is that he's just really clunky looking. He's really awkward. He looks like an animatronic or something. But I'm super stoked because I love the look they have for both those characters. They look so
They're
so
going
good.
with like the kind of like
the OG,
the 90s sort of theme.
Fits the Wolverine look and everything. So how can I complain? Like you're adding 2 more free characters like for a total of. I mean, who knows how big the base roster is? There's some rumors and leaks and stuff. I don't really want to share those.
Even then, though, this is the biggest roster.
By far, it's the biggest roster.
So it's kind of like when
if you include the DLC of the other games.
It's like when we talk about Smash Ultimate, when it's like, oh, we want more and more, but it's like you never needed more, really, right?
I'm fully satisfied. I just wanted like Loki, and I'm happy. Yeah. I do think, I don't know. I think it's really good that they're throwing Colossus and Cyclops in there. It makes me wonder who else they're going to add as like free characters.
Well, one thing. Well, so I was.
Like a couple characters we don't know. Vision, Ant-Man.
I was going to ask you. So because last time you were 100% right on Ghost Rider. Are you retracting your promise on Ant-Man and Vision?
Oh yeah.
I was wrong on Ghost Rider, but those 2 I just had a feeling. Vision, I think you're still right, but because you're going to make a point about Ant-Man, why we not see him?
Yeah. So I don't know if we look at this like. As I said, there's already animations. They already have a costume. They have a look in this game already. It makes sense why Colossus and Cyclops are a little bit easier to put that full character in the game. But I think Vision is probably in that. I don't know if he has like full NPC status or if he's just in cutscenes, because so far I've only seen him in cutscenes. I'm not sure if he's like an NPC that walks around.
Wasn't there that thing though when it was like the 4 of them they were standing together?
That's a cutscene though.
Was it a cutscene? Okay,
yeah,
I didn't know.
So
I've never seen it.
I don't think I've seen gameplay of like. I don't think I've seen actual gameplay footage where he's like flying around and stuff. So maybe he'll be added at some point. Maybe he won't. And then Ant-Man, we've really only seen him in a quick shot on Hawkeye's arrow, which is a cutscene, obviously, leading up into him turning into Giant Man, I'm guessing, as he fights Ultimo. So I haven't seen him as like a regular-sized character walking around. And I don't know. Will they add him? It seems like that would be more work than like a Colossus or a Cyclops. But I could see it from the perspective that I think Vision and Ant-Man are 2 massive characters, like both in the MCU. Like Ant-Man has 2 movies based on him. Yeah, and they're both important characters, but 2 things with them as well is, one, they're definitely not Marvel Knights, they're definitely not X-Men, they're definitely not Fantastic Four, so they're not going to show up in the DLC packs. So maybe this is something they do where they just like trickle 1 or 2 characters out for free every once in a while, have the DLC packs, like one's coming out in September, we know, next one's coming out sometime in 2017, wow.
Whoa.
One time in 2019,
Endgame
and then one in next year. So
yeah,
maybe they just trickle 1 or 2 characters out just to keep the intrigue there. in the middle. Characters who maybe were NPCs, like maybe Jessica Jones comes in and she joins the playable roster. I'm not sure.
I could agree with you because because we talked about this before, and I could be wrong because this game's exceeded my expectations. But I always thought when they showed those 3 packs of DLCs, I thought that was going to be, especially when they said the last DLC doesn't come out till the first quarter of 2019. So I think you're now with the free characters being introduced. I think you're right there.
Everything, right?
Yeah. But I think for the packs, I honestly do think they're going to stay with these 3. I don't think that unless the game is selling just like a gargantuan amount,
Gargantuan.
Yeah. I will ask you though this. The other point I was going to say before I ask you this question is I like that they did add Colossus because I'm looking. I don't think there's too many tanks in this game.
No, there's really not. There's like Hulk, Venom, and Luke Cage.
And Luke Cage even looks a little smaller, and that's fine because I'm not a tank playing guy. But if you look at Ultimate 1 and Ultimate 2, they have a lot of tank characters, or more like you got Juggy in there and whatnot. So I like there's another big guy.
I think it's important because from what we've seen, it seems like this game can be pretty challenging at times. Like you're really thrown into some difficult, like Infinity Trials in particular, but also I haven't really seen any hard mode, and people are like in the trios video, they're getting destroyed on normal, and they were like over leveled.
Oh, I can't wait! So, I want a challenge.
I mean, whether or not that was the final build of the game, I don't know, but like we still have a whole hard mode new game plus to see, and I feel like it's going to be hard. So I feel like there is going to be a big aspect of like team building, and with the ISOs as well, the ability to really customize your characters and maybe make a character more tanky, even if they're already inherently kind of tanky, like a Hulk or something. I think is really important. So to me, adding more to that archetype is important because, like. I'm guessing Hulk is going to be pretty tanky. Yeah. Venom, I really don't know.
He could go either way because I feel like in both games he's meant to be a tank, but he doesn't play like that. He plays, and that's why Kirkland's talking about too. We've never been a fan of him in the games because he's like a weird mixture of a tank and Spider-Man, and like that, like that's the character. But I mean, like he should be more tanky and powerhouse and just have the webs.
It's true. Luke Cage, I imagine he'll have some sort of like bulletproof effect or something that makes him more tanky. A Drax could be. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's true. And then I'm hoping, like, fingers crossed, Thanos is in there because, like, my prediction, if he was in the game, he would be. I don't think he'd have the gauntlet. I think he would be kind of like the way you think in Infinity War when he just beats up Hulk. So
even if he does have the gauntlet, I think he would still be up in your face. Like, he definitely would have big punches for his basic attacks. I think he would be up in the opponent's face.
So even if we give them the benefit of doubt, say Venom and Luke Cage are tankers, you got those two, and even Drax.
Yeah, what do you think of Drax? Like, is he a more tanky character?
I think the
ISOs open up a lot of room in general. Like, I think you can make like a Wolverine with his healing factor, throw on some health ISOs on him. I think you could make him quite a bit more tanky.
That's where I honestly, because I think we said, even though I think the stream we might not have all 4 of us at the beginning so we can play around, but I was like, I'll play as Drax because I'm the brawler guy. I really do think he's going to fall more in line with Wolverine, the hack and slash brawler type.
Yeah.
I think he'll have a bit more bigger moves, but just some, and I do worry with Drax. I think he could end up being like the Venom in the first 2 games where they don't know if they should make him a big guy or a brawler, and it's like sometimes some characters are great when they're all leveled equally, but that was a problem with Venom.
To me, he looks unfortunately like the most kind of bland of the characters because he looks like Wolverine, but Wolverine has the healing. Has like I know he has like a damage buff, which is kind of cool. I don't know what Drax has.
And at the same time,
I mean, this is the thing. We're going to be trying every character.
Yeah, and we never know. Dylan Musk, when he played Ultimate Alliance 2 the first time, would have never told you, Songbird's going to be one of my favorites, right? So we could get in there, and Drax could just play really smooth, like, oh man, like that's great. So and
sometimes it's your favorites that just become your favorite because you just like to look at yourself playing them. But sometimes it's just like I really like Songbird's moveset. She's my favorite.
Yeah,
it can be as simple as that.
I was happy Colossus being another tank. And Cyclops, he could suck, but I have some faith. I'm hoping he's good. I was going to ask before we move on the other characters, why do you think, and because you don't think it's that short, but I still think I'm surprised this is coming out August 30th with 2 free. Why do you think they didn't make it in the base game? Because to me, it's just strange that they're announcing it before the game came out. If it came out after the announcement, they were still working on it. Like, they're close. Like you said, it's a month, so not that close, but still, it surprised me that this announcement came. I'm hyped, but I was surprised that they're not in the main game, especially those levels. It threw me for a loop, but that's all I'll say.
I mean, there's a couple ways to look at it. I don't know, like, Team Ninja is their first time making Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what their process was of picking characters. I don't know how much involvement Nintendo had. I don't know how much involvement Marvel had.
They had a good process.
I know for, like, Smash, their drawing board, they sit down, they pick what is our roster going to be, and then they do it. And sometimes there's a case where, like, okay, we weren't quite done this character, we're going to release them later as DLC. I don't know if Team Ninja sat down and said, here is our 30 whatever odd characters roster, let's make that. I don't know if like Cyclops and Colossus were included in that, or if maybe they saw people really like them at E3 and they're like, oh, let's start working on this and add them as like a bonus later.
Yeah,
or maybe or maybe they were just lower on priority and they thought, okay, we already have like 4 or 5 X-Men characters. We don't need these guys. If we can finish them in time, great. If not, whatever, we'll release them in August. It'll give the game a little bump. It'll be something we can throw in a Nintendo Direct to get some hype up. Hey, 2 free characters, sweet. Because we know there's going to be a Nintendo Direct sometime in the summer, so that's a good thing to just throw in there. So show some gameplay of them fighting.
Remind about the other DLC as well.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what the reason is, but I feel like this is something that they maybe knew in advance. Like, I don't know when they decided they're going to do DLC, but it's pretty clear that they weren't planning Cyclops and Colossus to be part of that DLC, or else they would wait.
Because put them in X-Men.
Yeah, because I don't think there's like backlash of... I don't think there was huge backlash of the characters aren't in the game. I think Cyclops maybe more so because people really love that character generally.
Yeah, I think there's backlash, but I think people are still like, I get it because of the popularity. The only thing I was going to add on the roster is I did read an interview once that they didn't pitch anybody and they wanted to make deep cuts. They were talking about like Elsa Bloodstone.
Yeah.
They didn't pitch anyone, to my knowledge, that they said got turned down, or maybe they did and they just didn't want to say that. The only thing they got stricken down from Marvel is they didn't say which ones, but they gave them a list of these characters need to be in the game. So I imagine that's your Avengers, your Guardians, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's your big like movie characters.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I've heard. And like I said, it's them talking interviews, so they might be a lot like, skirting some of the truth. But that sounds reasonable of Marvel saying, hey, you can put whatever you want to, but you need to hit these characters at maybe these levels.
I guess where I question that is I feel like if Marvel really was pushing that, I feel like Ant-Man would be one of those characters, right? Like Ant-Man has 2 movies. He likely has a 3rd movie coming out at some point. He's a really big, popular character. He's been around the block. So I feel like that's a character that they would want on that list.
At the same time, though, as far as money-wise, he's the lowest as far as the solo people goes, right? So maybe they
in
were
terms
looking
of the box office.
Yeah, in terms of box office. So maybe they were looking at strictly marketing-wise, and that's why people like X-Men are.
You need
still
Black
in there.
Panther, right?
Yeah, and that's why even X-Men are in there. Were Dark Phoenix aside, before big commodity, right? And now they have the rights back. But when this game was in development, they didn't have those X-Men rights, and because it was a big thing, like. Super quick off topic with Marvel vs. Capcom, the newest one, that was a huge controversy that X-Men was in all these games and they were in that one, and fans of that series were really disappointed. So I was always surprised we got them there. And maybe it's because they had a better idea that like, we're working on getting them back. Feige's working on those fun bucks. So that's exciting. I'm very excited because I like those looks. I like the characters.
I love the looks as well. I'm really excited for Cyclops this time around just because it seems like they're really sticking to it, right? Like if that's like a ranged-focused character, then they're going to make his basics, his heavy attack like that. And that gets me really excited because it just seems like it just fits the character that much more. And I love the Colossus pick because I did want 1 or 2 more tanks in the game, and he just fits perfectly. So
get Deadpool and Colossus
whether or
on
not
the
I'm going to
team.
use them, it's like if I'm still playing solo, I'm probably going to want a tank on my team. So now just giving me an extra one is great. And I love the X-Men. So just like now we have more maneuverability. Like think about like the X-Men characters we have. They have like the classic like Wolverine and Storm, but I feel like other than that, it's kind of. I don't think Nightcrawler is that weird of a pick, but even like the base roster, like your X-Men team to get the X-Men team bonus, it's kind of weird, right? It's not like all classic X-Men. At least, like I feel like Psylocke's a little bit further away from that. Nightcrawler is a little bit weirder. You would expect like your Jean Greys or your Iceman or these two, right?
Have they said to Scarlet Witch count as an X-Men, like on a team, or is she an Avenger? She might double, right? She probably should double.
I think she's part of the Avengers, like story wise, but maybe she's in the team bonus for X-Men as well. I would hope so because I would love to do an X-Men team for a couple hours on the stream.
Oh
so.
yeah.
What
I was going to say, because we're going to talk about Marvel Knights, but because we're talking about X-Men, I want to talk about their DLC pack first quickly. So obviously now, with Marvel Knights, they revealed the 4 characters. We're going to talk about them.
That's the first DLC that's coming in September.
Yeah, in September. So my thing is, and that was our prediction. Was that
I think X-Men comes out this year. I just wanted to butt in. I think that is the next one coming out sometime in this year.
It would make sense because we've seen nothing from Fantastic Four, so that's why to me they might be still building those characters up. But to me, we kind of guessed we were like, it's either 4 or 5. That was our predictions because we thought it might go Fantastic Four and Doom. So my idea was always it was either Fantastic Four and then it's 4 or Doom and 5. So I'm going to, just for this conversation, let's just operate in the base that each of these DLC packs for now are just going to be 4.
Sure.
Because we got 4 announced for Knights.
Assumption, I'd say.
So now that because I was on that bandwagon, like I said earlier, that I thought Cyclops and Colossus were a for sure 2 there. So them being free opens the window big time.
It does.
I want to start with Beast. What is your feeling on Beast? Potentially being in there because
Beast is a tricky one.
He's in the portrait. He's animated. He's in the game.
Yeah, I don't know if he's only in cutscenes in the game. From what I've seen, I'm pretty sure I've only seen him in cutscenes. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's ever chilling around on the maps. I don't know if he has like a character model in game where he's walking around. I don't know if he has any like slashing attacks. I think if Beast would be a character that's added, I don't think you pay for him. I think he's another one, a free character that trickles in. And
don't you think they would have trickled him in though with these two as well?
That's why, I do, and that's why I think he just won't be added at all. And I think he'll be like the NPC for the whatever X-Men level is that gets added when that DLC comes out. I think he'll be like he is in the X-Mansion level. Looks like he's the one that gets you in the X-Wing. He's the one who kind of tells you to meet him out back and
he's
all
your
that.
Guide.
Yeah, so I think he is that NPC. I'd be down for another blue character, another blue X-Men, but I don't predict he'll be in the X-Men pack. If we're saying 4 characters,
just 4, yeah.
Would I want him? Yes, but I don't think if I only got to pick 4 that I want, I wouldn't put him. I wouldn't quite put him in mine either.
Yeah. Who's your top pick? You get 1 X-Men. They come to you.
My single one top pick. I think it would definitely be Jean Grey.
Jean Grey.
One, she's like really important character. She's really cool. She's really unique. She's really powerful. But also, she was really fun in Ultimate Alliance 2.
So much fun.
I really, really like that moveset. And if they give her that same costume that she had in X-Men 2 or in Ultimate Alliance 2, I loved her. Her moveset in that game is really fun. It was really unique. So she would definitely be my number 1 pick. What would yours be?
So it's tough. So I'll say I go with the Gambit because I love Gambit is one of my mains in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. I love spamming those cards. I love the design, and I'm a big fan of that character. But I think he is a good balance. He's kind of like the Thor characters I like. I like strikers that have projectiles that are not projectly like the base of them. I think, I guess as far as, so now that I've talked about villains and ones that I've really wanted, now that I got Loki, and if I hopefully get Thanos, I got to go for Marvel Alliance 4 or this DLC, who I want. If I got a villain, I don't know if you know who he is, but Omega Red for comic book fans, he is a part of the Weapon X squad. He's just this guy, he's a Russian soldier. He's a mutant. He has metal skin.
Is he related to Sabretooth in any way?
They were on a team. They were on Weapon X team. So it was him, Deadpool, Wolverine.
Damn, that'd be a cool team.
Yeah. And he has like metal arms like Doc Ock. It's kind of like that Doc Ock pick. So that's like a dream pick. For my likely one, I want to throw this on you because he's in the game. He's been in a game. What's the possibility of Juggernaut being in there? Because I was maybe wrong, but I did predict a few casts ago. I thought at one point I was in the camp that both Juggernaut and Mystique were going to be playable. Mystique, I'm so, but it could still happen. But Juggernaut, I think, is a very strong candidate of happening, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the pool of X-Men characters in previous Ultimate Alliance games that aren't in this one, that would be Sabretooth, that would be Jean Grey, that'd be Iceman, that'd be Juggernaut, and I mean Cyclops and Colossus, but they're already in.
Yeah,
I think and Gambit. So I guess those 5. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anyone, but I think it's
a big roster.
I think it's just those 5.
You're right.
And Juggernaut's super cool in the other game in Ultimate Alliance 2.
Another tank character.
Yeah, he's another tank. Because
we're not getting a tank in Marvel Knights.
He's a unique tank because he's more about the momentum. He's more about the movement based.
And if we don't count any free characters, we only know that the thing will be. So let's say if no free characters are a tank, and then these packs, Knights doesn't have a tank, and then we'd only have one more tank on the way with the thing.
Yeah. I do think already with Colossus and the thing, I think that's enough. I think that's like 5 or 6, especially with ISOs, the ability to make like your Wolverine a tank, maybe even like Deadpool because he has healing. Maybe you could make him a tank. I don't know, but
he's always a tank.
It seems
in
like
these
he
games.
got possibly. Yeah, he's fucking busted in the first game. Juggernaut would be a really cool pick, and I would be totally fine with it. I think he is super unique. He is really fun in the second game as well. Like the way they make his people talk about Quicksilver as a character and like wanting him, and I'm always always iffy because I feel like the closer you get to him being really authentic Quicksilver, the more broken he is and the less he fits into the game. But the less the more you make him just kind of fit in with the rest of the characters, the more you're taking away what makes him Quicksilver. Whereas I think Juggernaut's that perfect fit where, yes, he's a character about running around and blowing through stuff, but that fits so well into this game already because these battlefields, like the level design, it's much bigger than the previous games. You're not not as restricted. A lot of the times the camera's really zoomed out. So I would be down with it. And one thing as well, I think Venom, at least his boss fight, I'm pretty sure he's scaled down as a playable character from his boss fight. I think that might be the case for Magneto, and honestly maybe even Loki, even just 10-20%.
Yeah, because Loki looks, that's been my complaint. He's bigger than Thor in the boss fight. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so it makes sense to make a boss a little bit more chunky and just scale them up or down and they wouldn't look too weird. So Juggernaut is massive in game in the boss fight and in that chase scene, but you could scale him down, you could make him work, and you still want him to be a big character. Like Hulk is pretty chunky as well, and the Thing will be equally as big, I would imagine. So, yeah, I think if I don't know, would he be in that 4 if you only get 4? To me,
I think there's a good chance.
Yeah.
It's tough though, right? Because for me, and this is where we
once
can start
again,
talking
he kind
about.
of fits in that realm where it's like he's already in the game.
Yeah.
Already, so maybe I feel like from my logic, from my point of view, it's like the same argument I had for Beast would have to be the same one for Juggernaut, where I feel like if he does get added, it would just be a trickled in like free edition and not part of the pack, because I think the packs will be all new characters.
Well, because here's the thing. So with Marvel Knights, what we got today is so far what we've seen is we had some ideas as far as other characters in the games, and we're hoping. But so what we did get with Marvel Knights, because I'm bringing them now because it fits this X-Men conversation. We got Blade, you got Frank Castle the Punisher, we got Moon Knight, and you got Morbius, the living vampire.
Wild
crazy. So we're going to talk about them, don't worry. But my thing is, so obviously the DLCs come with story packs, so that's why I haven't really seen their worlds, Marvel Knights. But even then, those 4 characters, especially in all capitals, Morbius, very left field. So that's why I'm not sure with X-Men. Is the Colossus Cyclops picks these guys are in the game, but is the 4 we get, are they going to be, like, to me, a Jubilee? Someone we haven't seen. Someone like, I would love a fucking Omega Red. So, like, are we Mr. Sinister?
To be fair, I would say that Marvel Knights is the most, well, it's not even an opinion, really. It is the most obscure of these 3.
It is.
So that's where I think you are a little more open to throw Morbius in there. And but also, Morbius has a movie coming out as well, which I think adds to his case.
But my other case, again, for the being unknown characters or ones that we wouldn't even guess, those 4, you got a good point. But then also Fantastic Four, nowhere in this game. So that's why I'm wondering with X-Men, are we going to get some really wild picks that have nothing to do with the game and just like, you know what, we want to make it worth it? Because
the thing is,
maybe Cyclops Colossus would be worth
there's so many X-Men. And like I said, there's already 5 from previous games. Let's take out... Let's take out Juggernaut for the sake of this example piece.
He's like Beast, he's gone.
But like that's still 4 characters that you could play with who are from previous Ultimate Alliance games who have proven to like have worked. They fit into this kind of game, and they're nowhere to be found yet, right? So they could still be added. I think, to me, Jean Grey is like a lock. She is 100%. I don't think there's any way. She's way too popular. She's super unique. She's been in a game before. People love her way too much. I think that's like, to me, the only definite lock for the X-Men.
I think
like I'm like over 90% certain that she'll be in there. Yeah.
I honestly could go over 90% on her and Gambit, to be honest, because Gambit is really popular in the comic book community. So I just think those two fit.
I think it's maybe another reason too is like you look at Fantastic Four. Let's say it is just those 4.
Yeah.
You only get 1 female. If you look at Marvel Knights, none. So I think it helps. Like X-Men, that's where you have a chance to throw in a couple more female characters as well. So I think Jean Grey just has like so many things backing her up to be in there.
That's why I'm going with the pick
and
of
she's just like really well known. She's a household name.
That's
she
why
had a movie. It wasn't a great movie, but
that's why I'm also going with the pick of Jubilee. She's like a lower tier, but
I love her look.
Yeah, she has a cool look. Shoots like fireworks and sparkles ever. But another female. But that's what I've been trying to think. So. Because I'm trying to think, I think Jean Grey, you're right. In my opinion, I think Gambit isn't there. I'm just trying to think of, because to me, if Deadpool wasn't in the base game, this is where he would have popped up. I'm trying to think of just that one, like, to me, we all want, for our fan, or like our geek first, we all really want Moon Knight. We're big Moon Knight fans here. We were playing the crap out of him the other night. And even then, we're super pumped for Blade, Punisher making his debut. But to me, Morbius being in there was the huge shock. Like that was I think Punisher, we've guessed, right? We never mentioned Morbius. So I'm trying to rack my head about an X-Men character. That's why I throw out someone like an Omega Red that is like has like a hardcore fan base.
To Mandos in the Discord server for Ultimate Alliance, who throws out so many wild picks, but one of them was in fact Morbius that he shouted out at one point. Okay, so here's my other X-Men. I think
you go, because I'm just.
We need to finally come up with our 4. We've been talking this up.
Okay, so we're gonna do a whole 4. Okay,
I think we should pick a 4. I just want to talk about one more character, and that character is Iceman.
Yeah,
I think he has a really high chance for a few reasons. One, he's entirely unique. There's no other character quite like him. Yes, Loki has like an ice move. Maybe Storm has some sort of like ice ability or something, but he is very unique. Not even just like the fact that he has ice powers, but even just his look, even the fact that he could cruise around on like a little ice surfboard. Yeah. 2, and this is like just from like a roster, like nerdy note point of view, but he was a base roster character in the first 2 games. The only other characters who were base roster in the first 2 games but aren't in this one is the Fantastic Four, which we know are coming. So I want him from that reason. It's like when Ice Climbers finally got cut in Smash 4 after being in Melee and in Brawl, like, even though I don't play those characters a whole lot, it's just, it hurts to see them go.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing for me with Iceman, where it's like, I feel like he just deserves to be on the roster because he's a cool character. He's a well-known X-Men. He's got the cool moves. And he's been around, like, he's been in the other 2 ones as a base roster character. So I think he deserves it. And he would probably be behind Jean Grey. He's my number 2. Not even because I like him that much as an X-Men, but just because of the roster nerding out. I just really want him there because it would really fulfill that. It would really fulfill that like hankering in my soul. That's like I want that character to be in here just to feel like I'm fulfilled.
Mm-hmm. So I went to dorkly.com. Never heard of this website, but I just looked at like
Shout out to dorkly.com.
I looked at like the most popular X-Men just to get us some ideas here. So I want to talk about this because he was in there. Any chance of Professor X? I don't think so, but man, I would love to see it.
Was he a character in the X-Men Legends game? A playable character?
Let me do
you
a
should
quick
do a quick
search.
Google on that because I don't know what you would do for a moveset. I know you could come up with a moveset for absolutely anyone.
Well, because if you're saying there's people like Storm that are all just projectiles, he could do that with his mind and things like that.
Yeah, I think they could definitely come up with a moveset for him. I guess I'm not creative enough to come up with one on the spot, whereas you asked me to do that for a number of other characters, and I think we could come up with something halfway decent. Whereas Professor X, like, I don't know how you come up with 4 moves and giving him, like, I don't even know what you do for light and heavy attacks for him, right? Like,
yeah,
I think he's fine to have as an NPC, have as a character that is part of a story thing. I don't know if I want him. I think there's more like glamorous characters to do, and it's not that I don't love my man Professor X, but I think he's just better suited being an NPC. Maybe like Beast, maybe Beast doesn't need to be a playable character for him to be like to fit his role in this game.
Mm-hmm. So far for X-Men Legends 1, he was playable in one specific mission. He was playable.
Really?
So,
That's fucked.
And
so
then,
in those games, do you not have like a set roster that you go through the whole game with, or is it level to level? Like
I think just that one. So then here's some other ones I have that were.
I want to watch some gameplay of that.
Yeah, the Taylor Bots. We're gonna do it for the next stream. So here I'm gonna list off some characters that were in the first 2 X-Men games that couldn't be there, and I also got this from Dorkly.com. Emma Frost. I think
she's a fan favorite in the Discord server as well. Shout out to Spooky. That's one of his favorites.
That's definitely because a lot of just teenage boys grew up with Emma Frost, and she's always wearing some very skimpy attire, but she would have telekinesis. She'd have diamond attacks.
Oh, she's cool as fuck.
Yeah. So I think that's another one. Here's one I didn't even think about, but we're talking about X-Men being popular from the movies. Rogue.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense. She's a brawl character. She could fly.
I think she's pretty highly possible.
Yeah. Let's see.
Really cool abilities too, because she essentially copies abilities, right?
She can. I don't know if they would do that in the game.
No?
She can take.
I think she'd be like a Kirby-like,
I think that's way too much to put in there.
Maybe.
Yeah, and then everyone else we've kind of already talked about, and then some people I wrote down. Professor X, Rogue. The only other one that we haven't talked about, it makes sense because Deadpool's in there as Cable.
Ooh,
Marvel Alliance 2.
Yeah, I forgot about him. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a strong contender. So if I had to pick my 4, are we doing who we want or who we're predicting for the 4? Because that's very different. Because if we're doing want, Gambit and Omega Red are high. Omega Red's one of my favorite villains. And now that I've gone Loki, I'm just feeling greedy.
Fuck it, do both. Give me your want first. I'll do my
So want is definitely Jean Grey, Gambit, Omega Red. Ooh, and then anybody. For shits and giggles, either Mr. Sinister or Apocalypse, just another villain in there.
Yeah.
And then who do they want?
Not Sabretooth?
Ooh, that's tough. I would take those two. It's maybe more Mr. Sinister. Just get someone new in there.
Yeah.
And then the prediction, still having Jean, Gambit. I think you're pretty right on that Iceman call. And then the 4th. And then I feel like I'm just trying to think of who's the better, more likely between Rogue, Jubilee, and Emma Frost.
Probably Rogue, I would think.
It's tough because I think Rogue's more popular, but I think Emma Frost would be a cooler character to play as. But then again, I think all those characters are big, but I still think you need a Morbius.
We
need somebody.
We talked briefly about Quicksilver. Do you think he would be playable just
because
he's
game breaking?
I did see someone modded him in the first game, and it's not pretty.
No.
He breaks the game.
Yeah. So I will go with Rogue, but if I had to choose, I like Rogue better as a character, but for power sets, I'd want Emma Frost. So my 4...
How about, I guess one more character we didn't talk about, Mystique. What do you think about her?
I think there's a chance, but I don't want her. I think she would be she'd be like Black Widow.
She's more of a trickster than a fighter.
And we already got a God Mistress. So what do you got for your 4s?
Okay, so my wants would be Jean Grey. It'd be Iceman. It would be Gambit as well.
Get those cards.
And then this one we haven't talked about yet. I would throw Kitty Pryde in there, actually.
Damn it! I saw her on Dork. I didn't put her in there. She's another high chance too. I'm taking.
I mean, I love that character, even though I've really only experienced her from the movies and seen just looked her up and seen what her full power set is. But with the little dragon that she doesn't have in the movies, but that could be really fun to have a companion kind of move. And then obviously I don't know I don't know what you would do really with her ability to go through stuff, but what is that kind of just her powers?
Yeah, kind of pretty much.
The dragon's pretty cool.
Yeah. You could have special attacks with that. You could do going through certain people and whatnot. She'd definitely be a brawler, so I think she's popular, but...
So yeah, that would be mine. It would definitely be Jean Grey because she's fun in the other game. She's cool. She fits. Iceman just for the roster fulfillment. Gambit because he's awesome in the second game. Is a really cool, unique character. And then Kitty Pryde just for that kind of WTF pick, a little bit more
her
out
finisher,
there.
Lockhead could come and like fuck up some people.
I'd love that character. I think honorable mention to Juggernaut because I would love to play as him. If he's in the game, he'll be one of my favorites. But I just feel like for a DLC pack, I'd rather see him like as a random trickled edition because I kind of want. I know my wants and what I think they're going to do is a different list, but I think my wants and my prediction is actually very close. It's going to include Jean Grey, Iceman, and Gambit. And then the fourth, I think I would go with a Rogue or Emma Frost. I'll go for right now on July 18th. I'm going to go with Rogue.
Okay, yeah, same thing. Even though now I'm like switching to Emma Frost, but I still, again, I'll go on record that I think one of those four is going to be someone like I don't think it will be Omega Red or Mr. Sinister, but somebody like a Morbius where it's like, really? They're putting in that? I think it will be a first time or someone unique, you know, because even with Marvel,
I don't think it's necessarily restricted to just 4 characters either. I think they could do 5 or 6 for X-Men. I think for Marvel Knights, like as much as we're thinking, okay, Fantastic Four could be 4, obviously, it might not be more than that.
Could get
Marvel Knights, like there's really not tons more picks. Like I think Cloak and Dagger is one I saw a lot of people talking about.
Yeah, Werewolf by Midnight is someone still kicking
so there's
around.
A couple other ones, but it doesn't feel like those were
not
like promises
roster,
or something. No. It doesn't feel like, oh man, I can't believe they didn't add them.
We're getting the lineup we wanted of those ones.
I think there was 3 that like you expected, and 3 of them are there.